Hello, this video was created by Prajakta Pradhan, a senior information developer at BMC Software, and narrated by a computer-generated voice. In this video we will understand what knowledge article approvals are, and the different types of approvals. We'll learn how the approval process works and how the status changes for knowledge articles. Next, we'll learn how to configure approvals and define approval mappings. We'll also see a quick demo of how to define the approval mappings. In BMC Helix Business Workflows, a knowledge coach can configure approvals for knowledge articles that are to be published, cancelled, or retired. The knowledge coach configures approvals by creating approval flows and defining approval mappings. To understand approvals, let's familiarize ourselves with the different types of approvals that are available for knowledge articles. A knowledge coach can configure self-approval flows and approval chains for knowledge articles. Self-approval flows are automatically processed. Similar types of approvals and approvers are grouped in approval chains. A knowledge coach can define a level-up flow or a general flow for the approval chain. Now let's understand how an approval process works. When the status of a knowledge article changes to publish approval, retire approval, or request cancellation, an approval is triggered. If a self-approval flow is found, the knowledge article moves to the next status in the knowledge article lifecycle. If no self-approval is found, the system checks if an approval flow is configured. If no approval flow is found, the knowledge article moves to the next status in the knowledge article lifecycle. If an approval flow is found, the knowledge article is sent to an approver. If the approver rejects the knowledge article, the status of the article moves back to the previous status. If the approver approves the knowledge article, the status changes to the next status in the knowledge article lifecycle. In the lifecycle of a knowledge article, the default status is in progress. The knowledge article then moves to draft and then to SME review. When the knowledge article is ready for publishing, the status changes to publish approval. If an approver rejects the knowledge article, the status changes back to SME review. If the approver approves the knowledge article, the status changes to published and then to closed. A published knowledge article can be retired if it is no longer relevant. A knowledge article to be retired moves to the retired approval status. If the approver rejects the retiring, it moves back to the published status. When approved, the knowledge article moves to the retired status. When a published knowledge article is to be cancelled, it moves to the request cancellation status. If an approver rejects the cancellation, it moves back to the published status. If an approver approves the cancellation, it moves to the cancelled status. For an approval process to work, a knowledge coach can configure approvals by using the existing default configuration or by creating a new configuration. The default configuration for knowledge article approval is com.bmc.dsm.knowledge:knowledge article template. BMC recommends that you use the default configuration to create approval mappings. If you want to use a new configuration, create it from Innovation Studio. After the configuration is in place, you can create approval mappings based on status changes of knowledge articles. A knowledge coach creates an approval mapping by selecting the status that triggers the approval process. The available options are Publish Approval, Retire Approval, and Request Cancellation. Let's now see how to create an approval mapping in BMC Helix Business Workflows. Log into BMC Helix Business Workflows as a knowledge coach. For the purpose of this demo, we'll log in as Elizabeth. In the top right corner, click My Application Settings. The Settings page opens in a new browser tab. In the left navigation pane, expand Knowledge Management and click Approvals. On the Approval Configuration page, click Add Approval Mapping. On the Add Approval Mapping page, specify a name for the mapping. For the purpose of this demo, We'll name it Knowledge Article Approval. Select the company for which you want to create an approval. To apply the approval for all companies in your setup, select Global. Select the status trigger. You can choose all three options to trigger the approval process. For the purpose of our demo, we'll select Publish Approval. Click Save. The approval mapping is successfully created. To summarize, a knowledge coach creates approval mappings for knowledge articles. The knowledge coach selects the status trigger for the approval process. If no approvals are defined, the knowledge article moves to the next status automatically. We hope this video helped you understand how approvals work for knowledge articles. Thank you for watching.